Hello, this is Paul. I've not done a video for absolutely ages, and it's not through the fact I've not wanted to. It's just actually been a time issue. Obviously, we've been working hard on the show, getting loads of episodes out, some really good episodes, which have led to us having our best months recently. We're getting towards the end of our second year now of the podcast, so by very end of March we're going into our third year. Already hard at work on the new podcasts, well, episodes I should say, for April time. Got some really good stuff coming up, so basically just wanted to do a quick video. Not really done that many pickups for new games or anything like that added to my collection. It's mainly been like more magazine buying really, and research for the show, because as you know, I'm really into magazines. We've had some really good popular episodes, Games Master episode, the Retro Gamer episode, and obviously a few others. So like recently for the Sega Power episode, I've had a load of Sega Power magazines to read through, and obviously it's not a chore or anything like that. Quite enjoy it, looking back at all the old games mags. Also picked up the Playing with Power book fairly recently. That was £7 from that bookshop The Works. So basically it's just like some reprinted pages from the Nintendo Power magazine. So it's got quite a lot of well-known games in here, and hints, tips, players' guides. So you've got things like Metroid there. You've got Zelda. There's actually a lot in this, a lot more than I thought there would be. You've also got Punch Out. So just having a quick look at the first page. There's a little bit of history as well about the Nez. So yeah, not a bad book. So if anyone's got a books near them and they've got a few minutes, it may be worth nipping in, just see if they've got a copy of that still for Playing with Power. Like I say, £7. Also, as many of you have had now, big shout out to a friend of the show, Sam Dyer, and Bitmap Books. Obviously got the latest Nez Visual Compendium, which looks absolutely fantastic. And as many of you know, it's really thick. Loads of stuff in there. I had a quick flick through, that's it. It's great to see so many well-known names. I know that like Damien McFerrin has done stuff in there from Nintendo Life, and also Kev Bayliss, ex-Rare, and now at Playtonic, obviously working on ukulele. Both of those been on the show, really decent guys. So yeah, not bad at all. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get that, from Fun Stock soon as well, because at the moment it's still going out to backers and stuff. But anyway, enough of that. Basically, what I want to just quickly do is just have a quick look just at another magazine. It's not like, a proper in-depth look or anything like that. But as probably everyone who listens to the show knows, I really like Super Play. That's my favourite Super Nintendo magazine. Said so many times, Super Nintendo is my favourite console. So I've obviously picked up a load of different Super Nintendo magazines, either for research for the show or just basically reliving a few memories from when I was a kid. So one of my latest ones through the door was this one, which came the same day as the NES book. So issue 22 of Nintendo Magazine System. Now, Nintendo Magazine System, as many of you probably do know, basically came out when Mean Machines split into Mean Machine Sega and Nintendo Magazine System, tail end of 1992. So, Nintendo Magazine System, which eventually turned to be official Nintendo magazine, ran for quite some time. I think it was about 2006, its first incarnation. And then we sort of did a relaunch done by Steve Jarrett, worked on that again, so that's from showing like a magazine god in my eyes. So when that launched, and then I think it was 2012, something like that, no, 2014 I think it was, when it actually did totally end. The Wii U had just come onto the scene. So I managed to get the last issue of that because, again, another print magazine had gone from the shelves. So why do I collect these? Basically, my aim is really to collect the first 60 issues, mainly covering the Super Nintendo era, because for quite a while you've got covering the original Game Boy, the NES, and obviously Super Nintendo. So I remember as a kid, I'll try not to bore you all to death with this. I remember as a kid, Nintendo magazine system coming out, because I think so many people, if you were my age, bought either CVG or Mean Machines. Obviously the console market was absolutely huge and getting bigger all the time. So with issue 1 of the Nintendo magazine system, I remember I didn't actually buy this first time. One of my mates did. He had a NES. So obviously the SNES had just come onto the market and everything, but you could see straight away there's a load of popular games. And I seem to remember this coming with the little Nintendo Time Boy, like a little portable Game Boy type keychain. And I thought I was like, not a bad gift. Followed up by, I've not got it now, but I have got the t-shirt transfer that came with this Mean Machines Sega. Then you came with a Street Fighter 2 t-shirt transfer. Sadly, not in this bag anymore. Most of these, in fact, all of these Nintendo magazine systems were rebought over the last few years. But still in its protected bag, but not got the t-shirt transfer. But the first one that I remember buying myself, I had like massive bulky hi-fi, and it was this issue. And I wanted it because it came with the Street Fighter 2 CD soundtrack, and it came like obviously each track, the music for each fighter, and then I seem to remember the last few tracks were just basically the Hadouken and just all the sound effects. But played that absolutely loads as a kid. But anyway, and I've not got that CD soundtrack anymore. I actually did keep that longer than the magazines, but then I think I sold it probably again just before I started collecting. Anyway, so why am I collecting these? So, as many people probably know, Superplay ended in 1996. So, at the time, there were still a few more Super Nintendo games to come out. So, what I wanted was a magazine in my collection that was still going to be covering these, because so many other Super Nintendo magazines have failed and faded away. Your Super Control, Super Pro, SNES Force, not great ones in all honesty. So there weren't really that many on the newsstands time you got to 96, because obviously you have things like the Saturn was popular, the PS1 and stuff like that. So what I've wanted in the collection was to cover that last few months really of the SNES. So I'm thinking by issue 60 that'd cover me, So basically what I need at the moment, a little tiny scrap of paper, another another 11 issues. So I've got 49 out of 60 issues of this. So not that you're really going to be able to see that much. Kept in binders. I've just taken a few out just to obviously show you now. Some of them though really looked after, and there's a lot of magazines that you guys will probably remember buying. So God, they do get really heavy. Because now just a few more. Again, I've picked some more out just to quickly show to camera in a moment. So the very early issues in the Nintendo magazine system, you do see around quite a lot. But then it's like some of the later ones, I say later, like tail end of 96, start of 97, just like Superplay as well. You don't really see as many. Like, I don't see this one around so much, and God, the artwork on it is absolutely stunning for Street Fighter Alpha 2. Obviously quite a big release for the SNES and quite late on, because by this time it's all about Nintendo 64, as you can see with the you know, big shout out headlines. So the final issue of it actually being called Nintendo Magazine System is from, well, February. I can't remember if it's February 96, February 97. Yeah, it's going to be like February 97. Looking at this. So, again, double page spread, just saying it's going to be a new look. We're changing the system. No longer Nintendo Magazine System. Because the next issue went on to just be called Nintendo Magazine. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, February 97, because followed up then. Issue 54, March 97, actually then put in what year is that on there as well. So, just an example, just what, for this February one, you've got things like a massive review for Terranigma. Now, the thing is, Superplay never got around to actually reviewing Terranigma, and that was like one of the last big releases. You've still got things like this, and people are now talking about, you know, looking forward to the N64 and stuff, you know, this Nintendo Magazine System on the road, over in Manchester, more or less where, you know, I am. But you've just got, say even the last issue of the Nintendo Magazine System, massive feature there on like Mario Kart 64, that's what I was just looking for, the Terranigma review, which I just mentioned there, 90%, and then all it is really is N64 special. So as soon as it gets relaunched, we know that that's the way it's going, even though the Nintendo 64 had slipped back a little bit, hence Superplay fading away a little bit longer. Who knows, if the N64 hadn't been pushed back, maybe we would have got one or two more Superplay magazines. But like when we had Alison Harper on the show for the Superplay episode we did, she was saying that she was told to help guide the magazine towards the end of its run, so maybe we wouldn't have got too many more. So really, what I want to just look at is, with this being the first issue of it, just Nintendo Magazine, so it'd been about just over 4 years of being Nintendo Magazine System. I don't know if anyone remembers those anti-drug adverts. But yeah, so it's all seems to be all about the N64. So let's have a quick look at the, you know, the team there. David Upchurch as editor. Really, he's the only name I recognise, and Sean White as well. But it's all about, you know, this new look, moving away from Super Nintendo, NES long gone by that, and even really the original Game Boy. I think this is one reason why I only set myself a target to get to issue 60, because the Super Nintendo coverage now is basically just down to, like it happened with a load of magazines, it's just down to things like players' guides, you know, for Donkey Kong Country 3, adverts on the back for Ms. Pac-Man, back when you were getting like games like that released. Just moving to the last one I've got, like I said, there's still a few that I need. So here we've got July 1997, so what, almost a year after Superplay had finished, because even things like Total, that only lasted one more issue after Superplay, which is quite surprising. Oh, these ones have got massive posters in, which look alright. So got a massive Mario Kart 64 poster, and Star Fox 64 as well. So this is not the most fun thing just to be watching, we open posters. But yeah, quite cool when you do get the old magazines still with the posters inside. So yeah, basically, I still got to get issue 59 and issue 60, and as said, it's very, very much N64 focused. Straight away there, like all box outs, Mario 64, what else have we got? Is that GoldenEye? No. Goldman 5, War Gods on N64, Mortal Kombat Trilogy on N64. You know, it's all N64 previews, N64 news. You know, so really it was a last little bit really for the SNES. When you have a look at it again, just things like the tips, that's all you're getting to see now, just like a few little pages on the SNES there. And the last big thing was like a massive player's guide for Terranigma. So obviously by getting these last, these few issues of Nintendo Magazine, you know, at this point in '97, I've got to see the Terranigma review, the Terranigma walkthrough. It's still got like a lot of the same things that the early issues of Nintendo Magazine System or NMS had, you know, with, I'll just quickly flick to it now, Seal, you know, the letters page. Yeah, Seal's mailbag. I don't know how long that actually ran for, because obviously I wasn't buying any magazines like really in the Nintendo 64 era back then. I just mainly went down the PlayStation route. And then, yeah, even when you're looking at, always a sign of how things are, when you're looking magazines at Special Reserve, you know, so you've still got a few Super Nintendo games listed just around here. So what have we got there? Donkey Kong Country 3, 42 quid. But Donkey Kong Country 2, 44 quid. Okay. What else? Mortal Kombat 3, game I need in my collection, 45 quid. Pilot Wings, £25. Pinocchio, £33. So yeah, even things like Super Mario Kart, still 26 quid. Terranigma, 42 quid. Yoshi's Island, 42 quid. So yeah, really, that's all I wanted to show. I will finish off that collection. I think it is a really good magazine, you know. I think there's some fantastic stuff, and there's a lot of good writers, especially in the early issues, obviously, like Jazz Rignall, Paul Davis, Tim Boone. Those are always fun as well. That's saying good. You know, the surveys that you get in magazines, I don't think it'll be in time to send it back now to Dave Upchurch. You know, the usual things like, where did you buy your copy of Nintendo Magazine System? You know, oh yeah, got to get it back by January 15th, 1997, so over 20 years old now. How many people borrow your magazine? You know, tick what you like about the magazine, stuff like that. Which other magazines did you buy? So you've got things like Sega Saturn Magazine, Games Master, Essential PlayStation, Mean Machines PlayStation, one that didn't really last that long, PlayStation Power, Edge, CVG, Play. So it was me just basically being amazed by a list of games magazines, you'd have thought. So yeah, I mean, it's always funny now when I look back at these, because I try to think like what I would have put like as a kid. You know, it's like, how many games do you own? 6, something like that. And now if you filled it in, how many games do you own? Hundreds. You know, they bloody hell all around me. You know, it's always funny looking back and just seeing which magazines I did actually buy then, which was quite a lot of them. But yeah, any ones actually attached to a magazine, I never want to fill in anyway, because I don't really want to ruin any of these magazines, because as I said so many times, I think they're a great piece of you know, a retro gaming collection, definitely. So yeah, that's everything. Oh yeah, that was it as well. Something else, another free gift for someone. Clean my room, please. Zool door hanger, and do not disturb plain Zool. Yeah, so different type of free gift there. So that is basically my collection of Nintendo Magazine System mags. Well, as I said, going on to Nintendo Magazine. Hopefully I'll try and finish those this year, as well as the Superplay Top 100, which currently stands at only needing 7. So it's very, very close after getting... I know I put pictures up, but, you know, Puzzle Bobble on a Japanese, that was like £20, compared to like 80 if you get it, you know, on PAL as a Buster Move. So yeah, definitely worth getting on a Japanese import Okay, right, anyway, that's all from me. Again, thanks again for supporting the show. We're hard at work again, as I said at the start, on the next few episodes. And yeah, got some really, really good ideas as we start approaching episode 50. Right, guys, see you later. Bye.